In the year 2147, aboard the starship Odyssey, Captain Mira Voss, a seasoned veteran with a distinguished military background and a reputation for both bravery and keen decision-making, navigated the vastness of space with her diverse crew. Suddenly, a mysterious signal pierced the silence. "Captain, we're receiving a strange rhythmic pulse from the Zenthara sector," Lieutenant Eva Sharma reported, her voice laced with curiosity. "It's not a standard comm frequency. The modulation is unnatural. It's broadcasting on a stable quantum entanglement channel, but fluctuating in a way that defies our protocols." She leaned closer to her console, a faint smile on her face. Almost musical. Commander Ben Carter scoffed, his tone dripping with skepticism. "Musical? More like a dinner bell. That's a highly advanced encrypted broadcast. Eva, not a tune. A signal from uncharted territory is almost never a friendly tune. It could be a distress call, or it could be something designed to lure us into a trap. And that's a gamble I'm not keen on taking with this crew." "We can't just ignore a potential plea for help, Ben," Eva countered, her voice firming. "What if there are beings in trouble out there? Are we really so jaded that we'd turn our backs on a possible first contact just because it's inconvenient?" Captain Voss listened intently, her fingers tapping a silent rhythm on her command chair's armrest as she absorbed the data. She held up a hand, silencing their back and forth. "Both of you, stand down," she commanded calmly. "Your arguments are noted. The potential for a trap is high, but the potential for a new discovery is equally significant. We won't allow fear or hope to cloud our judgment." She turned to her command chair, her expression resolute. "We need to analyze the signal thoroughly before making any decisions." She pointed a direct finger at each of them. "Lieutenant Sharma, I want a full spectrum analysis of that signal, from its subharmonics to its encryption matrix. Find me a pattern, a language, anything we can use. Commander Carter, double-check every defense protocol and prime our shields. We must be prepared for any outcome." The weight of their responsibility settled heavily upon them, the uncertainty of the Zenthara sector looming over their mission. The starship Odyssey emerged from hyperspace, approaching the source of the mysterious signal. Before them lay a desolate planet, its surface scarred with the remnants of ancient, long-abandoned ruins. Its landscape was a tapestry of rugged mountains and sprawling structures, bathed in the weak light of a distant star. Captain Voss led an away team to explore the ruins, marveling at the advanced technology evident in the decaying architecture. "It's incredible," Commander Carter said, his fingers tracing the faint lines of a wall carving. "Imagine the knowledge they possessed. The technology. It's beyond anything in our databases." "And to think it's all lost now," Lieutenant Sharma added, her voice filled with a mix of awe and melancholy. She pointed to a mural depicting what looked like a city floating in the sky. "They built worlds. How could it all just vanish?" Captain Voss clapped a hand on Sharma's shoulder, her gaze fixed on a glowing orb at the center of the chamber. "Not entirely lost. We're here to understand their history. Every discovery tells a part of their story." Carter stepped forward, his expression serious. "Activating that device could be risky, Captain. We don't know what kind of response it might trigger. It could be a security system, a distress call, a weapon. Or it could be a library, Commander," Voss countered, her voice low. "The potential to learn about this civilization is too great to ignore." Sharma's eyes, however, were wide with excitement. "But Captain, look at it. It's not a weapon. It's a beacon, a signal from a lost people. Don't you think it's worth the risk? Imagine the things we could learn." "I understand the appeal, Lieutenant, but a thirst for knowledge doesn't justify recklessness," Carter pressed. "We're not just explorers, we're a search and rescue team. Our primary mission is to return to the Odyssey in one piece." Voss held his stare, a moment of silence hanging between them. "I'm aware of our mission, Commander. But what if this beacon is a last cry for help? A message they wanted someone, anyone, to find?" She turned to Sharma. "What's your take, Lieutenant?" "Beyond your enthusiasm." Sharma hesitated, her gaze on the pulsating orb. "I'm with the commander on caution, Captain. We don't know what we're dealing with, but I can't shake the feeling that this isn't a tomb. It feels more like a waiting room. What if we are the ones they were waiting for?" Voss nodded slowly. She could see the logic in both their arguments. "The potential to learn is too great to ignore. We will activate it, but with extreme caution. Let's see what story this machine has to tell." As they initiated the device, a low hum intensified, and a powerful beacon shot into the cosmos, its light reaching far beyond the boundaries of the planet. The crew stood in silence, the weight of their actions heavy upon them, knowing they had opened a door to the unknown. The away team returned to the Odyssey, their initial excitement replaced by a sense of unease. As they tried to contact the ship, they found their communications were jammed. Panic began to spread among the crew. "Captain, we're getting nothing but static," reported the communications officer. Commander Carter took charge of troubleshooting, his voice tense with urgency. "Run diagnostics. We need to figure out what's happening to our systems." Fear was palpable on the bridge. What if this is the response to the beacon? Lieutenant Sharma voiced her concerns. "Are we under attack?" Captain Voss remained focused, her voice a calming presence amidst the chaos. "Stay calm. We need to assess the situation and come up with a plan. We will figure this out together." Just as the crew began to make progress on the communications, a chilling visual appeared on the main screen. A massive alien armada filled the void of space, their sleek, menacing ships casting a shadow over the Odyssey. The sheer size of the alien fleet was overwhelming, and a sense of dread fell upon the crew. "They're here," whispered Captain Voss, her voice barely audible. "The beacon has alerted them to our presence." The tension in the room reached a fever pitch as the reality of the impending invasion set in. The massive alien armada loomed outside, a silent and terrifying testament to the power of their unknown adversary. The crew of the Odyssey moved with a sense of grim determination. They knew they were facing a formidable enemy, and they had to prepare for the worst. Captain Voss gathered the officers on the bridge. "We need to fortify the ship's defenses and allocate resources for emergency protocols," she stated calmly, her voice conveying authority. Commander Carter reported on the defensive capabilities. "We're reinforcing the shields and preparing the weapon systems. We'll make it as difficult as possible for them to breach our defenses." The medical officer ensured the infirmary was prepared for potential casualties, gathering supplies and readying equipment. Each member of the crew focused on their specific tasks, their training kicking in as they confronted the imminent threat. The alien armada launched their attack with overwhelming force. Swarms of fighter ships descended upon the Odyssey, their energy weapons illuminating the void. The Odyssey returned fire, its powerful lasers cutting through the alien ships. Explosions rocked the bridge as the ship sustained hits. "Shields are holding, but taking heavy damage," shouted the tactical officer. "They're trying to overwhelm our defenses." Captain Voss remained calm amidst the chaos. "Focus fire. Target the largest ships." The crew worked together, their training kicking in as they fought for survival. The Odyssey was battered, but its defenders remained resolute, determined to withstand the alien assault. Amidst the deafening roar of battle and the searing heat of explosions, Mira and her crew fought their way through the debris. The Cathars seemed relentless, their ships overwhelming the Earth defenses. Just as they thought they were cornered, they stumbled upon a group of unfamiliar beings, their faces etched with fear and determination. They were the last remnants of the Zenthara civilization, seeking refuge amidst the devastation. Mira, despite the ongoing battle, saw an opportunity. Extending a hand of friendship, she welcomed the survivors, forging an alliance that would become their greatest hope in the fight against the Cathar. The alien survivors, their faces etched with terror, revealed the identity of the invading force. They were the Cathar, a ruthless empire known for their insatiable thirst for conquest and their brutal methods of suppressing any resistance. The survivors explained the Cathar's advanced weaponry and their unwavering belief in their superiority, painting a chilling picture of their ambition to dominate the galaxy. They described the destruction they had witnessed, the countless civilizations that had fallen before the Cathar's might, emphasizing the urgency of their plea for help. Their desperation underscored the gravity of the situation, highlighting the need for a unified front to stand against the Cathar's tyranny. The Cathar, with their superior technology and vast military, were a formidable force. Their ships were heavily armored and equipped with advanced weaponry, capable of devastating entire civilizations. They were also known for their ruthlessness, leaving destruction and despair in their wake. However, their arrogance could also be their weakness. They underestimated the resolve of those who defied them, and their rigid command structure could be exploited. The Zenthara, despite their dwindling numbers, possessed ancient knowledge of the Cathar's weaknesses and their unwavering determination to survive. Their understanding of the Cathar's technology and tactics would be invaluable in the fight. However, their resources were limited, and they were physically weaker than the Cathar. Recognizing the dire situation, Mira extended a hand of alliance to the survivors. Despite their differences, the two groups quickly realized the necessity of unity. They shared their knowledge and technology, the survivors offering their insights into the Cathar's weaknesses, and Mira's crew providing their expertise in combat and strategy. Together, they began to develop a plan to fight back, combining their strengths to form a formidable alliance. A glimmer of hope emerged amidst the despair, as they realized that by working together, they might have a chance to overcome the Cathar's dominance. Driven by a desperate need to stop the Cathar's destructive plans, the crew of the Odyssey, led by Captain Voss, knew they had to strike at the heart of the alien invasion. "Captain," Sharma interjected, "we need to exploit their reliance on centralized defenses. If we can disrupt their power core, it could render their shields and weapons useless." Carter nodded. "And we could use the Zenthara's ancient knowledge of their access tunnels to sneak a team inside without being detected. It's a risky maneuver, but our allies possess the blueprints." Voss listened intently, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. "It's our best chance," she decided. "We need to move quickly. Let's finalize the infiltration plan and prepare the necessary equipment." The atmosphere was a potent mix of tension and determination as the crew meticulously planned every step of their mission, knowing that the fate of the galaxy rested squarely on their shoulders. As the crew ventured deeper into the mothership, they made a horrifying discovery. The Cathar weren't just conquering the Zenthara system, they were actively harvesting the remnants of the Zenthara civilization for a sinister purpose. "Captain, you won't believe this," reported Sharma, her voice tinged with horror. "They're draining the energy from the ancient ruins. The beacon we activated was just a catalyst for their destructive intentions." The revelation sent a chill through the crew as they discovered the horrifying truth behind the invasion. The Cathar were not just warmongers, but exploiters seeking to drain the life from a once great civilization for their own selfish gain. "This is even worse than we could have imagined," said Captain Voss, her voice grim. "We need to find a way to stop them before it's too late. The fate of the entire system depends on us." The crew exchanged determined glances, their resolve hardened by the horrifying truth they had uncovered. "Our primary objective is to disrupt the mothership's power core," Voss addressed the tense crew, her gaze fixed on the tactical display. "Sharma, your team will be responsible for navigating the ventilation shafts and reaching the core." She turned to Carter. "Carter, your team will provide cover and deal with any Cathar patrols we encounter. We'll use the Zenthara's knowledge of their security protocols to minimize detection." A young systems engineer spoke up. "Captain, I can try to override their communication channels, creating a brief window for your teams to infiltrate without immediate detection." Voss nodded in approval. "Excellent. Every advantage we can gain is crucial. Remember, teamwork and precision are paramount. The fate of the galaxy depends on our success." The crew listened intently, their faces etched with a mix of determination and trepidation, ready to embark on their perilous mission. As the Odyssey approached the Cathar mothership under cloaking technology, the tension aboard the smaller ship was palpable. Inside, Sharma's team navigated the mothership's intricate ventilation system, the narrow passages echoing with the thrum of alien machinery. Almost there, Sharma whispered into her comm, her eyes scanning the schematics on her wrist-mounted device. Meanwhile, Carter's team positioned themselves near the mothership's main access point, ready to create a diversion at a moment's notice. "We're in position," Carter reported, his voice calm yet firm, just waiting for Sharma's signal. Back on the Odyssey, the systems engineer worked feverishly, fingers flying across the console. "I'm breaching their comms network now," he announced, a bead of sweat tracing his temple. "We should have a brief window of opportunity shortly." The crew waited with bated breath, the success of their mission depending on split-second timing and the flawless execution of their audacious plan. The interior of the Cathar mothership was a maze of gleaming corridors and humming machinery, the sterile atmosphere thick with an alien presence. Sharma's team moved cautiously, their specialized equipment allowing them to bypass security checkpoints. "Almost at the core," Sharma reported, her voice barely a whisper. "Carter, prepare for diversion." On the main level, Carter's team strategically placed explosive devices near key access points. "Ready when you are, Sharma," he confirmed, his finger on the detonator. As Sharma initiated the core disruption, alarms blared throughout the mothership, and Cathar guards rushed to investigate. Carter's team activated the explosives, creating a calculated distraction to cover Sharma's escape. The mothership was plunged into chaos, the crew's audacious plan unfolding amidst the confusion. The air crackled with tension as the united forces of humans and Zenthara survivors assembled beneath the shadow of the ancient citadel. The once peaceful landscape of Zenthara, now marred by conflict, served as a grim reminder of what was at stake. "We can't hold them off forever," Commander Alara said, her voice steady despite the fear flickering in her eyes. She surveyed the makeshift camp where soldiers and civilians alike prepared for the impending onslaught. "We won't have to," replied Captain Riker, adjusting his armor. "We'll give them everything we've got." For Zenthara, a chorus of agreement erupted from the gathered troops, but beneath the surface, doubt lingered. Alara noticed Jax, a young Zenthara survivor, trembling as he tightened his grip on his weapon. "Jax," she called, moving closer. "Are you ready?" He swallowed hard, his eyes darting around the camp. I don't know, Commander. What if I fail? What if I let everyone down?" "You won't fail," she reassured him, kneeling to meet his gaze. "We're all in this together. Look around you. These people believe in you. I believe in you." Jax nodded slowly, his resolve strengthening. "For Zenthara," he echoed, a spark igniting in his voice. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a fiery glow over the battlefield, the Cathar war cries echoed in the distance. A palpable silence fell over the assembled forces until Riker broke it. "Remember why we fight?" he urged. "This isn't just about survival. It's about reclaiming our home, our future. We fight for those who cannot fight alongside us. And for those who have fallen," added Lieutenant Mira, her voice steady and strong. "We fight for every Zenthara soul lost to the Cathar." The ground trembled as the Cathar forces approached, their numbers overwhelming. Alara inhaled deeply, her heart racing. "Positions!" she shouted. "Brace yourselves." As the Cathar surged forward, chaos erupted. Blades clashed, and the cries of battle filled the air. Alara fought alongside her troops, her instincts guiding her as she parried and struck. Amidst the chaos, she caught sight of Jax, his courage shining through as he defended a wounded soldier. "That's it, Jax," she encouraged, striking down an enemy with a swift blow. "Keep fighting." Just then, a massive Cathar warrior charged toward Jax, a menacing grin on its face. Alara's heart raced. She had to act. "Jax, behind you," she yelled, sprinting toward him. In that moment, Jax turned, fear momentarily freezing him. But then he remembered Alara's words. He swung his weapon with newfound determination, barely deflecting the Cathar's strike. Elara arrived just in time, delivering a powerful blow that sent the Cathar crashing to the ground. "You did it!" Elara exclaimed, her heart swelling with pride. "You're a warrior." As the battle raged on, Mira found herself face to face with a Cathar captain. The two engaged in a fierce duel, each strike resonating with the weight of their respective causes. "You think you can take our home?" Mira spat, sweat dripping down her face. "You'll pay for every soul you've taken. You're a fool to resist." The Cathar captain hissed, lunging forward. "This world belongs to the strong." Mira dodged, retaliating with a swift kick that knocked the Cathar off balance. "And the strong fight for what's right," she declared, landing a decisive blow that sent the captain sprawling. As the tide of battle began to shift, Riker found himself cornered by a group of Cathar warriors. Just as he thought he was done for, he heard Jax's voice calling out. "Captain, over here!" Jax shouted, throwing a weapon toward him. Riker caught it midair, his spirit renewed. "Nice throw, kid." Riker grinned. "Now let's finish this." With renewed vigor, the combined forces of humans and Zenthara survivors pushed back against the Cathar, their unity unmatched. Each character faced their fears, their insecurities melting away in the heat of battle. As the last of the Cathar fled, the victorious forces stood together, battered but unbroken. Elara surveyed the battlefield, her heart heavy with the weight of their losses and lightened by their triumph. "We did it," Jax whispered, his voice filled with disbelief. "We fought for each other," Elara replied, placing a hand on his shoulder. "And we will continue to fight for our future." In that moment, amidst the wreckage of war, hope ignited anew, and the promise of Zenthara's resilience burned brighter than ever. The sun began to rise over the ruins of Zenthara, casting a warm glow on the battlefield still littered with remnants of the conflict. The cries of victory had faded, replaced by an eerie silence that blanketed the land. Elara stood among her weary comrades, the weight of the previous day's events heavy on her shoulders. "We did what we had to do," she murmured, gazing across the horizon. "But the fight isn't over yet." Mira approached, her armor battered but her spirit unbroken. "We need to strike while we have the momentum," she urged. "The Cathar Command Center is still operational. If we take it out, we can end this." "You're right," Elara replied, turning to face her. "But we'll need a solid plan. That place is crawling with Cathar." "We have the element of surprise," Mira said, her eyes gleaming with determination. "If we move quickly and work together, we can breach their defenses." Jax joined them, his expression a mix of eagerness and trepidation. "I want to help," he said, stepping forward. "I can lead a distraction." "You're not going in alone," Riker interjected, placing a hand on Jax's shoulder. "We'll all go. Together." The group gathered around a makeshift map spread on the ground, detailing the Cathar Command Center's layout. Mira pointed to a series of marked paths. "We can approach from the west. It's less guarded, and Jax's distraction will buy us time. What if things go wrong?" Jax asked, his voice wavering slightly. "Then we adapt," Mira replied firmly. "We've faced worse. Trust in each other." With a nod from Elara, the team set their plan into motion. They moved swiftly through the remnants of Zenthara, hearts pounding with the anticipation of what lay ahead. As they neared the command center, the tension in the air thickened. "Jax, you ready?" Riker asked as they crouched behind a rocky outcrop. "Yeah," Jax said, taking a deep breath. "Just keep an eye on me." "Always," Riker assured him, a smile breaking through the gravity of the moment. As the Cathar patrols passed, Jax sprang into action, darting out into the open and creating a loud commotion. The Cathar turned, confused and angry, leaving their posts to investigate the noise. "Now," Mira shouted, leading the charge toward the command center. The team rushed forward, adrenaline surging as they breached the outer defenses. Inside, the atmosphere was tense, Alarms blared, and Cathar warriors scrambled to respond. Elara took the lead, her sword clashing against the first enemy she encountered. "Keep pushing forward," she yelled, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We can't let them regroup." Mira fought alongside her, coordinating their movements with precision. "To the control room," she shouted, her tactical genius shining through in the heat of battle. "That's where we can deal a real blow." As they fought through the corridors, Jax found himself cornered by a group of Cathar soldiers. Panic set in, but then he remembered Elara's encouragement. "I'm not afraid," he shouted, charging at them with newfound courage. His attack caught the Cathar off guard, allowing his companions to come to his aid. "Nice work, Jax." Riker cheered, knocking down a Cathar soldier as he joined the fray. "That's how we do it." The team pressed on, eventually reaching the control room door. Mira took a moment to catch her breath, assessing the situation. "This is it. We breach the door and we take control," she said, her determination unwavering. Elara nodded. "On 3, 1, 2, 3. They burst through the door, weapons drawn, only to find the room filled with Cathar commanders. A fierce battle ensued, with Mira's strategic ingenuity shining as she directed the crew. "Flank left." "Jax, cover me," she commanded, dodging an enemy strike. Jax nodded, providing support as she engaged a Cathar leader. "You'll regret this assault." The leader snarled, swinging a blade toward Mira. "Not if we stop you first." She shot back, countering with a swift maneuver that disarmed him. With teamwork and determination, the crew managed to turn the tide in their favor. They fought with everything they had, but the cost was heavy. As the last Cathar commander fell, silence enveloped the room. Panting, Mira surveyed the aftermath, her heart sinking as she realized the consequences of their actions. "We did it, but at what cost?" she whispered, her gaze falling on fallen comrades and the destruction around them. Elara stepped forward, placing a hand on Mira's shoulder. "We fought to protect our home. We will honor those we lost by rebuilding." Jax, still catching his breath, looked around the room, a mix of pride and sorrow in his eyes. "We saved Zenthara, but I wish it hadn't come to this." "So do I," Riker replied, his voice heavy. "But we have to keep moving forward. This is just the beginning." As they exited the command center, the dawn light illuminated the horizon, symbolizing a new beginning for Zenthara, one that would require healing, unity, and the strength to carry on. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the remnants of the Cathar command center. The air was thick with the scent of burnt metal and the distant sounds of rebuilding efforts echoing through Zenthara. Mira stood at the edge of the battlefield, her gaze lost in the horizon, her heart heavy with the price they had paid. "You okay?" Elara's voice broke through her thoughts, gentle yet probing. Mira turned, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Just thinking about everything. We fought hard, but it feels like we lost so much." Elara nodded, her expression solemn. "It's a heavy burden to carry. Every victory comes with a cost." As they walked together, the sounds of the Zenthara survivors working to rebuild their homes filled the air. Jax approached them, a bundle of supplies in his arms, determination etched on his face. "Look at this place," he said, his voice filled with a mix of hope and sorrow. "We're actually doing it. We're rebuilding." "It's a start," Mira replied, glancing around at the survivors and humans working side by side. "But I can't shake the memories of those we lost." "Neither can I," Jax admitted, his eyes darkening. "But they fought for this, for a future. We owe it to them to keep going." Just then, Riker joined them, wiping sweat from his brow. "Hey team, we just finished clearing out the last of the debris from the command center. There's still a lot to be done, but we're making progress." "I can't believe how much we've done in such a short time." Mira said, her voice tinged with admiration. It's incredible to see everyone come together like this. It's about more than just survival now. Riker responded, a note of pride in his voice. We're building a new community, a new home. As they spoke, a group of Zenthara survivors approached, their faces weary but determined. The leader, a tall figure named Kalin, stepped forward. We thank you for your help, Kalin said, his voice resonating with sincerity. Your courage has inspired us to rebuild our civilization. We will not forget what you have done. It's a team effort, Alara replied, her tone warm. We fight together. We build together. Mira felt a swell of emotion as she listened to Kalin. We're all in this together. We formed bonds that go beyond our differences. Kalin nodded, a smile breaking through his somber demeanor. Indeed, together we are stronger, and together we will rise again. As the sun began to set, casting a vibrant glow across the landscape, Mira found herself reflecting on the battles they had fought and the relationships they had forged. She turned to her crewmates, her heart full. I never expected to find family out here, she admitted. You've all changed me in ways I didn't think were possible. You changed us too, Mira, Jack said, a genuine smile on his face. You showed us what it means to fight for something greater. It's hard to believe we're heading back home soon, Riker said, looking at the horizon. We'll never be the same after this. And that's okay. Alara added softly. We carry these experiences with us. They shape who we are. Mira took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of anticipation and sadness. I just hope we can honor those we lost by making a difference back home. We will, Riker assured her, placing a hand on her shoulder. We'll share our story. We'll make sure Zenthara is never forgotten. As dusk descended, the crew of the Odyssey gathered for one last meeting before their departure. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken thoughts and shared memories. I want to thank each of you. Alara began, her voice steady. For your bravery, your sacrifice, and your unwavering spirit. We've fought together, and now we'll carry this experience with us. Mira looked around at her crew, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. We've come so far together, she said, her voice filled with emotion. And I wouldn't trade this journey for anything. Jax nodded, his youthful exuberance shining through. We've made friends for life. I'm proud of what we accomplished. Riker raised his hand in a gesture of solidarity. To Zenthara, and to the bonds we formed. Together, they echoed the sentiment, their voices blending into a powerful affirmation of unity. As they stood together, the dawn of a new chapter awaited them, one filled with hope, resilience, and the promise of a brighter future. Epilogue, the signal resounds. The atmosphere on Earth felt both familiar and surreal as Mira stepped off the shuttle, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and nostalgia. The air was crisp, and the vibrant colors of the sky reminded her of the sunrises over Zenthara, where they had fought for survival and forged bonds that would last a lifetime. As she made her way through the bustling spaceport, Mira couldn't shake the feeling of change that hung in the air. She spotted Alara waiting for her at the terminal, a warm smile breaking across her face. Welcome back, space traveler, Alara exclaimed, pulling Mira into a tight embrace. It's good to have you home. It's good to be back, Mira replied, her voice filled with emotion. But I feel like a piece of me is still out there with the Zenthara. That's a part of who you are now, Alara said, stepping back to look into her eyes. You fought for them, and that will never change. Just then, Riker approached, his demeanor as charismatic as ever. Hey, team. Ready to share our epic tales of heroism and adventure? Mira chuckled, a sense of warmth spreading through her. You mean the tales of how we survived against all odds? Exactly. Riker grinned, slapping his hands together. But first, we need to check in with Command. They've been waiting for our report. As they moved through the spaceport, Mira couldn't help but reflect on the journey they had undertaken, the lives they had touched, the sacrifices they had made. Everything felt intertwined in a tapestry of experiences that had changed her forever. Upon reaching the command center, they were greeted by a group of officials eager to hear their story. Mira stepped forward, feeling the weight of leadership as she began to recount their adventures. "We faced overwhelming odds," she began, her voice steady. "But we stood united, humans and Zenthara alike, fighting for a future that was worth saving." As she spoke, she noticed the faces of her comrades filled with pride and determination. They had come so far together, and now they had the chance to share their story with the world. After the meeting, Mira found herself in a quiet corner of the command center, reflecting on the past few months. Just then, a familiar beeping sound interrupted her thoughts. It was her communication device, blinking with an incoming signal. "What's that?" Alara asked, peering over her shoulder. Mira pressed a button, her heart racing as she listened. The signal was faint but unmistakable, a series of distress calls resonating from deep space. "It's a signal from another civilization," she whispered, her eyes wide with possibility. "They're in distress." "Another Zenthara?" Riker asked, his brow furrowing with concern. "We can't let this happen again." "We have to respond," Mira said, determination flooding her voice. "We can't turn our backs on them." Alara placed a hand on Mira's shoulder, her expression resolute. "Then we'll do what we do best. Fight for those who need help. We can't let fear hold us back." "We've got a ship." Jax chimed in, excitement bubbling in his voice. "The Odyssey is ready for more adventures." Mira felt a rush of adrenaline as she realized the journey ahead. "Let's gather the crew. We have a new mission." As they prepared to set off once more, Mira took a moment to reflect on what lay ahead. The universe was vast, filled with unknowns and challenges, but also with hope and the potential for new friendships. "We've come so far," she said, looking at her crew. "And we're ready to face whatever comes next." With a shared sense of purpose, they boarded the Odyssey, the familiar hum of the ship igniting memories of their previous battles and triumphs. As they launched into the cosmos, the stars twinkled like beacons of hope, guiding them toward their next adventure. The signal resounded through the ship, a call to action that echoed in their hearts. Together, they would answer it, ready to forge new paths and create a brighter future for those in need.